Hey there, everybody. Jared Polin here. I got a question from RJ via Facebook yesterday or the day before asking about Lightroom and Photoshop. Basically, he's been editing his RAW files in Photoshop. Now, that's something that I used to do during Lightroom 1.0 days, but when I finally got my ass kicked into gear by my friend Greg on the virtues of Lightroom, I switched over to using Lightroom. So really, you're not going to lose with either. They're both highly powerful programs for editing your raw files. So you're basically gonna get the same editing capability out of both. Now, the reasons that I use Lightroom is because Lightroom is primarily for photographs and organizing and keeping everything in the places where you want them, being able to find everything right where you want them. Photoshop has Bridge, so you can locate your photos there. You don't have to import them in order to edit them. Lightroom, you have to import the files in order to edit them. But for me, as a photographer who's always editing images, Lightroom is a better work environment for me. The people that will want to stay with Photoshop and don't need to go to Lightroom, or graphic designers or photographers that aren't shooting as much, that need to do less editing, because they have less pictures to go through. So that's why you would use Photoshop over Lightroom. But I like Lightroom a lot. The automated processes that you can run there through plugins like adding the watermark that I have, that I put in the bottom of every picture, is great when I'm exporting images. You can do that in Photoshop too via an action that you can set up. But I like having my photos all in one place because I spend most of my time, 99% of my time is spent in Lightroom. I rarely take an image into Photoshop anymore to do anything with, because I don't do a lot of touching up to my images. As you'll see with Photoshop 5, CS5, you could, this aware fill thing is incredible. Being able to take just everything out of an image, take a person out and it fills in the background where that person was, is insane. And there's some other insane things there. But for this, if you're a full-time photographer or you do a lot of photos and you want to have them stored, organized, I import everything in the Lightroom. They're imported, they're organized, they're right where I want them. I can tag them better. Yes, it's very similar to Photoshop. It really is very similar, but for high batch processing, for using a lot of images, for going through a ton of images, Lightroom's going to be easier when you import everything. That's really what it comes down to. I just think it's designed for photographers. It's designed to edit quicker, and that's where the benefits come from. So, really, RJ, that's what I suggest. I know you're shooting a lot and you're going to be shooting a lot. This is going to keep your photos organized. You're able to do Lightroom backups of your catalogs. You can export catalogs, so that when you do fill, there is no, from what I know, maximum number of images you can have in one. I've got like 60 or 70,000 images in a catalog, and that's a lot. But it cranks through on my iMac. So, I've just started to split up catalogs, and I'm going to do that further now that I really understand them better. That I can have a wedding catalog where all the wedding photos go. I can have a band catalog where all the band photos go. I can have miscellaneous, traveling. So it's going to be better to have smaller catalogs, as they will process much quicker, because it doesn't have to search through as many photos. So, that's really it. I like Lightroom better. So, take that. Hopefully that helps people out there. Any other questions? I'm open to any question here. So send them in, and I will do my best to answer anything that you send in. Jared at jaredpolin.com or at jaredpolin on Twitter, or you can find me on Facebook. Have a good one.